Hello, viewers. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, whatever part of the world you belong to. Hello to everyone. This is your host, Dr. Aijaz Qureshi from Dreams Television, with today's The Daydreamer Show. Today, the episode is awesome and wonderful. The topic is very near and dear to my heart. The topic is girls' education in Pakistan. It is it is very sad to see the ratio of the girls' education in Pakistan. We're going to talk to our esteemed guest today. His name is Greg Mortenson. He is a U.S. Army veteran. He's author of Stones into School. He's author of Three Cups of Tea. It was a very famous book, very well accepted in the market. So many copies sold and is still being sold. He is founder of Pennies for Peace. He's a co-founder at Central Asia Institute. He is a board director at Sonia Shah organization. He is originally from old Moshi, Kilimanjaro from Tanzania, but he's currently living in Bozeman, Montana. So let's welcome our esteemed guest, Greg Mortenson. Greg, welcome to the show.
Good morning. Assalamu alaikum.
Good morning and walaikum assalam. Viewers have really started commenting, and I see so many viewers online right now. So please commenting. We will get to Greg and we'll answer your comments and questions and everything. So stay tuned. Keep watching this show until the end. It's going to be a wonderful show, and I'm really honored to have Greg Mortenson on my show. All right, so thank you so much, Shoaib. Yeah, it's going to be great. So we are all passionate about girls' education, and why are we passionate about girls' education? We're going to talk about that passion with Greg, and I share Greg's point of view as well. So, Greg, I did a little bit of introduction, but I'm not sure if I did. I was able to do justice to that. So, would you like to introduce yourself a little bit? That how did you start your career, and how did you get here where you are today, and your passion about the education or about getting into the army and serving the nation over there and defending the nation? So how did you get where you are?
Well, assalamu alaikum, and greetings and good morning and to Canada and US, and good evening Pakistan and South Asia.
I guess
thanks
we
for
have
having
some
me.
network issues, folks. So hang on.
You hear me?
Greg's picture seems to be frozen. Just hang on a minute. So let him come back. His network connection be restored. Thank you so much, Rabia. Thank you so much, Selva. So let me read out who is with us, and we have Greg frozen right now. Let's see when he comes back. Rabia Nasser Mahmood, thank you so much. Suhail Bhai, Hakeem Zafar Iqbal is with us. Rotaba Khan is watching. Muhammad Shoaib Ali, Selva Sul is watching. Muhammad Ishraquddin, Muaz Qureshi, Kamran Amir, I'm sorry. Muhammad Ali Abbas, Suleiman Minhas, Harun Khalid Butt. All these friends are there. Mavish Khan is also watching. Thank you so much for that, all the way from Germany. And thank you so much. Yes, it is an important topic, actually. Besides, it is a nice topic, but it is very important topic. So it's just, as I said in the beginning, it's very near and dear to my heart. I want to talk about this, and we unfortunately lost Greg. We were about to start the show and we lost Greg. So let's see when he comes on. Let me go to the messenger, and I will be right back with you. I don't know what is going on. Let me see.
It's working?
I'm just messaging him that we lost him, and as soon as he comes back, I'll bring him on screen as well. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sohail. Thank you so much. and where is this organization? He's working in Pakistan. I want to open a school for girls in my village. Absolutely, Mr. Shoaib Ali, we will bring up your comment when Greg comes back. We'll definitely do that, so hang in tight. I'm just exchanging messages with him. Yes, please go ahead and reboot or log out of the application, close the app, force a stop it, click on the link again, and rejoin. So it's okay, that's fine. You can reboot it, and that's how we will get to it. So friends, what do you think about the girls' education? Why it is important to you? And I have so many friends here. Vikramjit Sachdev is my best friend here in Toronto. He also joined, so thank you so much for tuning in. And I thanked everyone else who is on the show. So thank you so much. Please tell me why the education, girls' education, is near and dear to your heart as it is to mine. So we have Greg again here. So let me bring him on the show. Greg, here we are again. Okay, so let me close my Facebook tab so that we don't get distracted, and my phone is on mute as well. So we were talking about, and I did your little introduction, and I'm not sure how much justice I could do with that introduction. I know you're way beyond of that, all that I said. So please tell me, how did you got inspired to do what you do today? Who you saw to get inspired, and you got here where you are?
Well, I have a long history with education. It's about my fourth great-great-grandfather. He came from Norway to the U.S. He immigrated here in like 1860s, and he was a farmer, fisherman. When he got to the U.S., he saw there was no school in this town called Starbuck. The people there wanted to put a church in there, but he fighted with them, so they put a school in. And then my parents, my father, I went to Tanzania when I was 3 months old. My father and mother taught in girls' schools in rural Tanzania in the Usambara Mountains. And then my father proceeded to start a medical teaching hospital. My mother started a couple schools. So that kind of was in my blood already. I got to Pakistan first in '93. I had a sister who had epilepsy, and she died unfortunately at age 23. And so I was a climber, mountaineer. So I went to Pakistan to climb K2, and I didn't succeed. And then afterwards, I realized I could honor better by working with education. I just planned to build one school, but now 25 years later, I'm still working at education, especially girls' education. So there's a quote: "When your heart speaks, take good notes." So I just followed my heart. It was never my intent to do this.
That's right. That's right. So why specifically girls? I mean, education is education, Greg, right? I mean, boys are all equally important as well. Why focusing on girls?
Well, in where I grew up in Africa, there's a quote, and I learned this actually as a boy from my father. It says, if you educate a boy, you educate an individual. If you educate a girl, you educate a community or a nation. And at the time I wasn't registering this, but boys have much more opportunity. We come from 5,000 years of patriarchal culture, and so. But my contention is that, I use a quote, we can send in troops or drop bombs or put in roads or electricity, but unless girls are educated, society won't change. And even Muhammad Ali Jinnah, the founder of Pakistan, he said, without women, a nation can never succeed. Or he said, there's the most powerful weapons are a pen and a sword, but there's a much more powerful weapon, and that is of women. That's what he said when he founded Pakistan. So there's I just think there's no more important thing. Of course, the boys have to be educated, but the reality is that they have a lot more opportunity, and the long-term effect of that is, from that quote about educating boys as an individual, when girls are educated and become mothers, then the education is much more likely to go on. An educated mother will, her children will most likely go to school, and she'll encourage them.
Awesome. People are saying. So I'm hearing my voice back again, but it's okay. That's fine. So what is the Central Asia Institute that you're co-founder? What is that institute doing? What is it all about? What is the charter of that institute, Greg?
That was originally founded it's like, I get my years mixed up, 1995. And that organization, I'm the founder. Since 3 years ago, the organization is going on its own, so now I'm independent of the organization. It's primarily working in northern Pakistan, Gilgit-Baltistan. Also, after the Pakistan earthquake, there was a huge need for temporary or thousands of schools destroyed. So we're working in Azad Kashmir, and then we have some schools in Dar Ismail Khan in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, and also in the Punjab around west of Jhelum, and also in Mian Chanu. That primary charter originally was to just get girls in school. And now from there's more emphasis on teacher training, scholarships, and as the literacy rate and education rate goes up with girls, and especially there is still a problem all around the world. More girls are getting in school, although there's 132 million girls still not in school in the world. When girls hit puberty, when they about 5th grade, and they hit puberty, there's a huge attrition rate. Girls drop out, and a key in that, there's 3 factors. Number 1 is access to hygiene, toilets, water, clean drinking water. Also, safety of girls walking to school, or not getting harassed in the bazaar. And the third thing is kind of like protection around the schools, and also teachers. I'll talk about some of the negative things, but there's a lot of, say, abuse and assault by if you have just all male educators with female students. So there's a really big need to have female educators. Girls do much better, especially during that very critical time around puberty. So that's one thing. And then scholarships. Girls in the rural areas, it's very difficult for them to come from the village, even though they're qualified, and go to Lahore, Peshawar, Islamabad, Karachi. So they need a lot of not just educational support, but they're the shock of being from an urban area coming into a rural area to an urban area. And I've been very blessed to see, doing this now for 25 years, it's so amazing to see, those little girls that were just coming down to school on a path. They didn't even know what education is, and now, Khalida is from Gilgit-Baltistan. She became the first woman to get a master's degree in agriculture. Her parents were illiterate farmers. Her father died when she was 7, and she wants to get into helping with sustainable organic agriculture. There's women who are now judges. There's women who've gone into officers in the Pakistan Army, and it is just so inspiring to see that progression. And as you know, last week in Sindh, woman was nominated now for the Supreme Court of Sindh. There still is yet not one Supreme Court justice in Pakistan who's female.
Right.
And in Afghanistan, Anisa Rasooli was just nominated for the Supreme Court. So we've got a very long ways to go, but we'll get there.
We'll get there, definitely, definitely. Let's talk a little bit about Stones into Schools. That book. What was the idea behind that book? How did you conceive? It's a very catchy name of the book, catchy title, Stones into Schools. I mean, what inspired you to write that book?
Well, first, if you don't mind, I'll tell you what 3 cups of tea means for some viewers who don't know.
Sure. Okay, let's talk about 3 cups of tea and then we'll dive into it.
So Haji Ali was a village chief in Korfe village. It's a very rural village in northern Pakistan. It was where I got the first school going. Haji Ali was a very wise man. He was illiterate, and he read the Quran prolifically. But I noticed sometimes he would have tears or he was sad, when he read the Holy Quran. And I asked him once, why are you sad? And he said, Greg, I'm actually illiterate. I memorized this book, but I don't know what the meaning is. Wow. And he said, it's my life's greatest goal that my children and my, successive, they can have education and be literate. Iqra is the word in Islam. It's the first book, a word of the revelation in the Holy Quran. It means read or be enlightened or educate.
That's right.
So that was a very powerful statement to me. And so then I was busy trying to build a school, but I was like this, foreigner, Westerner NGO, and I'm going to help you do this. And one day he said, Greg, you need to leave our village. Let us do the work. And it takes 3 cups of tea to do business around here. The first cup, you're a stranger. Second cup, a friend. And the third cup, you become family. For our family, we're prepared to do anything, even die. And what he was meaning is that it's about his faith and about relationships. And so then Stones into Schools, it has 2 kind of themes. The first was after the earthquake in Pakistan in 2005. And we were there very early, within a week. And, there was no communication, no electricity. It was very chaotic. So I get into describing about the issues there. And the second half is about, it's in about Afghanistan. And if you look at, kind of trace the trajectory over 25 years. So I started in Korfe, but I listened to Haji Ali and I had lots of cups of tea. So the schools kind of evolved down a chain. If you ask me to please draw a map where the schools are, I'll draw a map, but I'll put names everywhere. You won't have the, but it was because of the building the relationships.
Absolutely.
When I was in Afghanistan, the same thing. I was working 3 years to get a school started, working on relationships, and then commander, he's like a Sadr Khan, he's in northern Afghanistan, and he said to me once, he said, look at those hills. This is a warrior, he's been fighting all his life. He said, you see those boulders everywhere. Every one of those is a shaheed who died fighting for our country or people. And now we must turn those stones into schools. And, he was saying basically that the only way to stop violence and conflict is education. And we have to use education. So that really struck me, just like Haji Ali, that more than anything, people want education. And I'm often asked why I do this. And I learned from my father to listen, especially to the women and the elders. And when I would go around and ask people, you know, what do you want? I would like to help you. I'm your servant, but what do you want? And women will tell me pretty much three simple things. We don't want our children to die. We want education, and we want peace. So from that, you know, I'm just trying to, you know, if we listen to the women, especially, women don't want us fighting, and they want peace, but they mostly want, and that's what ties in more academically, but into girls' education. It's the #1 way to reduce infant mortality, maternal mortality, the world's exploding population. The girls' education is the #1 way over successive generations to curb the population explosion. Economic growth, again, it's the most effective investment you can make to over 3 or 4 generations to really increase the economic growth. So you can't go wrong with girls' education.
Absolutely, you're right. Somebody is asking a question here before we dive more onto 3 cups of tea. Somebody has asked, let me find that comment here real quick. Muhammad Shoaib Ali is asking to you, where is this organization working in Pakistan? I want to open a school for girls in my village. So that's what he is asking for.
Okay. Well, I'm the founder of, it's called Central Asia Institute. Primarily, the projects of that organization are focused in Gilgit-Baltistan, AJK, and also a little bit in the Punjab. I'm also I'm on the board of directors called Sonia Shah organization, SSO.
Yes.
That is helping with one school. It's called in Kangra village. It's near Charsada. It's north of Peshawar in KP province. My real goal, I'm say recrafting. I'm going to do this the rest of my life, but my vision is to really help the small organizations working in Pakistan and Afghanistan. It's all local, and to really help facilitate that rather than, you know, coming from the outside. I'm really focusing now on trying to help initiatives within Pakistan and Afghanistan. So my father was very taught me a lot that ultimately, you know, the people can do it themselves, and I'm really an advocate that to let people, you know, it's their schools and their communities and their nation. So all I can do is just try to be of assistance. But
awesome, that's great. So let's get to 3 cups of tea. And why 3 cups of tea? I mean, I'm sure that you have been asked this question, the why only 3 cups of tea? You get there, you make the friendship, you introduce yourself, you get a cup of tea, and then you become, you help them, you really get to know each other. It's another cup of tea, and then you become part of the family. It's another cup of tea. But again, you know, there could be many more instances to have or share a cup of tea with others, right? As somebody has pointed out, maybe earlier, I've been reading somewhere that maybe 3,000 cup of teas, or maybe 300,000. And I would add to that comment, why not 3 million or 3 billion or 3 trillion cups of teas? Why 3 cups of teas?
Well, 3 cups is because of what Haji Ali told me, but you know, I don't know how many cups of tea I've had, but tea is the equivalent of relationships and love, and you know, it could be kahawa green tea or salt tea or payu cha with that's in the north, or doodh pati, you know, very sweet doodh pati, or so. And tea is it's just anywhere you go, you always have tea first, even if it's with an adversary, you have tea.
That's right. Exactly. So tea is something which is a common ground. So you start with the common ground, and then you discuss whatever you have to discuss, right?
Correct.
be it adversary or be it friends or whatever it is, but you start on a good foot. And that's a good thing about starting on a good foot, is that you can get somewhere. You have to start somewhere. So if you start on a good foot, definitely you will get to a good conclusion. And that's my belief. So let's talk about some controversy around three cups of tea and the organization and the funds being, misused and things like that. There has been lots and lots of discussion on the social media, on the media and press and all that kind of thing. And here I have the opportunity to ask you a question in person directly on camera. So, ladies and gentlemen, Greg Mortenson asked, answering your question that you asked, lots of people have asked that, what was that all about, Greg, on a serious note? Why did that even got initiated?
So in 2011, so I started this in 1993, and the book Three Cups of Tea came out in I get these years mixed, 2006, and it was very successful, and we used the book as a means to, it wasn't just the book, but the book was a way to bridge, culturally and educate the American public, and also talk about the importance of girls' education. So we started raising a lot of money. I also had, I was very ill. I had a hole in my heart called atrial septal defect. So my oxygen levels were going down, and I was on oxygen for 3 years. But I was trying very desperately to raise enough money to put aside, we call it the Talim Fund, so that if something happened to me, that this work could go on, and continue the work and education and scholarships. I also, I never planned to build an organization or anything. I'm not I'm not an administrator, and so I wasn't, my fault or mistake was I should have stopped, hired, all the accountants and all these CPA and all these people, and put things together very structurally, and then proceed. But I was trying to do the projects, and I was also trying to raise money, and I was also trying to run an organization. So I really overextended myself, and it was a very big mistake that I hadn't gotten organized. But I was so passionate. I felt this is like a real war, and we have to, it's like and we're on a timeline. I mean, I see the survival of this planet partly based on our ability to have education for all. And I was really, I wasn't, so I was doing too many things, and we didn't have good accounting. So then there was a media profile in the U.S. by CBS, and so they came to Pakistan, and they found what you'd find anywhere. Some schools were not doing too well. Some were thriving. A few schools have been closed, and so then I got investigated by the IRS and the Attorney General, and basically out of that they just said I should be more. There was no fraud or anything, but I should have been more, prudent with all the accounting and control, and
more transparent, I guess.
Yeah, and also from that, I've also been learning, the model that I have though is community based. The community provides free land, sweat equity, free resources, subsidized labor. So they own the school and they run the school. So if you plug in, kind of a top-down model, and you have to add in a lot of administrative overhead to have accountability rather than with the communities. So then you start talking about, tripling your, it's a very delicate balance. And I think especially like in Afghanistan, when you're working in a very fluid and dynamic area, and even auditors, they don't want to go out to these places. You have to rely and trust on the elders and the community. So, and I see that happening now. There's, we got to figure out a balance between big aid and community-based programs. So I was kind of the guinea pig to make some of the mistakes on the community side.
It's okay, no worries about that. I'm sure people are very forgiving, and we all make mistakes. We have been created by mistakes. So I mean, let's accept it, and nobody can claim that that person is mistake free. So we all make mistakes. Let's accept it. Let's move on. Okay. Farheen Mukri from all the way from Singapore. She has been very curious about when our show will be and what time, how she can watch. Here she is. The only thing is that she stole my question. I normally ask my guests that how people who are watching, how they can support you, and she put it nicely, and she says, love is strength, power, and courage to you, Greg. It's really great. Thank you so much for your loves, Farheen Mukri. And she's asking, do share how we, the international community, can help in your purpose or cause. So how they can help. So again, that's my question normally on the show, but it's okay.
The first thing is in order to have anything happen in this world, we need three things. The first is awareness, the second is advocacy, and the third is action. And I'm not trying to diminish, I'll tell you where people can, send donations or get support, but the really, really important factor, if we really want to have peace and sustainable, nurturing societies, we have to create awareness of these issues, and it is very critical. And without awareness, you really can't have advocacy. There's 132 million girls out of school in the world. The number is actually getting worse since 2006. There's an initiative called Sustainable Development Goals by the UN that embraces SDGs. I've been to dozens of American schools recently. Even the geography teachers, they do not know what SDG means. And then, for example, Tunisia, they have just banned all violence against women. They passed legislation last year. It includes pay equity, gender disparity, discrimination against girls going to school. And they've taken the SDGs and girls' education, embraced it as a national vision. Wow. So one thing is, just tell people, girls, education for all. We have to create awareness of that and advocacy. And then, we won't talk about politics, but I was inspired that Imran Khan, he mentioned that in his 5 pillars of, the nation building, the 5th one is education. And he's very committed, we'll see. But for example, Pakistan, in its entire history, has never put more than 3% of GDP into education. It's one of the lowest countries in Asia. You have to give, the provincial areas do put also extra into education, but in my opinion, there needs to be a national platform in education, which Imran Khan has started. So Benazir Bhutto and Nawaz Sharif, everybody talked about education, but where's the bucks? Where's the and so I'm now on the board of Sonia Shah organization. It's a small organization. It's all volunteer. There's a girls' school in Kangra. I'm also going to start a new initiative. Specifically, it has to do mostly with scholarships for girls and helping girls at puberty, so they can continue their education. So, and I'm in the process of doing that right now. And the other is Central Asia Institute and their work. There's also, in Pakistan, the TCF, Citizens Foundation, the Dil Zindagi Trust. There's the Human Development Fund. Then there's hundreds of small organizations that I've been in contact with, and so I'm trying to, kind of vet them all, but put them on and help them create awareness of, what they're doing and why they're doing it.
Awesome. That's great. Talking about Imran Khan, Greg, did somebody tell you that you have a glimpse of Imran Khan on your face?
Well, right.
Trust me, if you put yourself, let me come off the screen and let me bring you solo so that people can tell me if I'm right or wrong. If you put on a white shalwar suit, okay, and you put yourself in a Mercedes, the same one that the Prime Minister rides in, and you have a couple of Tahoes or Suburbans behind you, and you get somewhere and you pretend, I'm sure no one in the hell can guess that it's not Imran Khan, it's not IK, it's GM actually. So what do you think?
Well, he's a lot more. I'm now a Chacha or Kaka, so he's still a young man. So I've since I started working in Pakistan, this is my favorite. Oh, I wear this all the time in Afghanistan and even in Islamabad, and I go to the federal ministries. I always have this, so I just feel more comfortable. Sometimes they ask me, could you please put a, more appropriate clothing on, but this is the way I am. So
what could be more appropriate than the dress of the country that you are working for, and you have the passion for? I mean, look at from about the dressing. I know lots of people, especially Pakistani people, I have seen that when they try to go in public, they would not dare to put on the shalwar suit. Okay. Back home, putting on shalwar suit is a normal thing. Okay.
Right.
So they would put on either a dress pant or a jeans or to more, match with the environment, but that's fine. My question is, since we have adopted the Western dressing, why not the West can adopt Eastern dressing? Okay.
Yeah,
why not? I mean, we gave it a shot. We like it. You guys give it a shot, and you will like it, I'm sure. There is so much
more practical,
exactly.
Cool, in warm weather, get nice breeze, and in warm and cold weather in winter.
That's right.
I love gardening. When I'm in my garden, I often wear shalwar kameez because it's more practical and
exactly.
Some people ask and look at me like, maybe call the police and say there's
yeah, let's not get there. It's a separate discussion, but thank you so much. Tafsiruddin is our friend, our dear friend. He's in Ottawa. He's an entrepreneur, and he organizes conferences that bridges the gap between Pakistani business community, IT community, and Canadian IT companies or other companies. He's also conducting the Pakistan-Canada IT Forum in October, and it's going to be a big hit. We have another event happening here in Toronto, which is held by Pakistan-Canada Business Council, PCBC, led by our friend up in Montreal. His name is Shafqat Bashir. All these great Pakistanis, they are working really hard. And just FYI, Greg, I'm heading out to Pakistan in November, and I'm going to teach. My mission is, I just launched that program a few weeks ago, and you might have noticed on the poster there was this little logo that says PDP. I'm not sure if you picked that up or not, but the PDP stands for Pakistan Development Program, and I'm working on the same lines as you are, helping out the Pakistanis. So this program, PDP, is a mass training program, and I'm chartered to train 500,000 Pakistanis on website development so that they can become social entrepreneurs.
Oh, excellent.
So that's what I'm trying to do. And I would need your help and support and your network, the Shah SSO, and everybody on the ground because I need hands. It's just myself. I have a great team with me right now. Whoever is helping me, they're awesome, awesome people. I couldn't even really thank them enough to be, and they're all dedicating their time for free. It's all volunteer work, but they're so amazing. So I would definitely need your blessing and your support on that as well.
I'll be happy and honored. I'll be coming in October, and I don't know when you're there, but maybe we can have some tea in Pakistan in November.
Absolutely, we may cross our paths in October. Who knows? So we'll definitely do that. Sarita Handa is our sister from here, from Toronto. She's a wonderful, wonderful person, cancer survivor, and so am I. So we have common grounds, and she's such a wonderful person. She's a beautiful singer. She's a great, great voice. So thank you so much for appreciating Sarita. I really appreciate it. Muhammad Shoaib Ali is saying Shalwar Kameez shows our culture. Absolutely, that's what I'm trying to say. That Shalwar Kameez shows our culture, and I'm not sure why we feel shy about showing our culture and feeling proud, not feeling proud about going into the malls, putting on the shalwar suit and a basket or a waistcoat or a coat, and people can recognize you. And I'm not sure if they will jump on you, but again, you know, so be careful. But again, you know, it's our national dress. It has its own respect and everything, and I love to put on the shalwar suit. And I go to Shoppers Drug Mart or stores in shalwar suit, and people watch at me, and it's okay. I don't care. So let's getting back to our show. Thank you so much, Greg. It has been really a pleasure to have you on behalf of Dreams Television, the Daydreamer Show, myself, all the viewers who have watched it, who have commented, who will be watching later on because of the timing schedule. They may not be available right now. They may be asleep, things like that. They will all definitely watch it. So thank you so much once again. What will be your final word to the world, or especially the Pakistani people?
Well, my heart is always in Pakistan, and you know, it's disheartening for me to see some of the things being said in the media and politics. But you can go to any village, any town, any area in Pakistan, and you find the most hospitable, proud people. And I have, you know, this dream is about this is about dreams and daydreamers. And in my dreams, Pakistan is, you know, from the Arabian Sea to the top of the Karakoram. It's I have great hope, and it's I feel very honored that, you know, to have been able to work in Pakistan and continue the rest of my life to help in Pakistan, especially with education.
Awesome. Great, great, great message. So thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much. And I really appreciate Farheen Mukri for your help and support. Definitely. Please inbox me with the information how you can help and support the cause. And it's going to be a great, great cause. So I really look forward to hearing from you. And I'll definitely go on Amazon.ca and buy out your 3 cups of tea and stones into schools. And I'll give them a good read. I'm not sure if you are aware or not. I'm writing a book. The name of the book is The Art of Coexistence. How do we coexist with each other? I mean, there's so much differences, the difference of opinion going on in between countries, nations, religions, cities, towns, differences in dealing with environment, the nature, you know, there are so many different things that need to be dealt with, and we have to make up our mind, how can we coexist? We have to coexist. We have to live together.
Right.
So how can we peacefully, nicely live in this world and what is the art of coexistence. So that's what I'm writing on. 6 chapters done, friends. 4 more to go. Due in October. Hopefully it will come out in October. Looking for a nice publisher, so maybe I'll contact you, Greg, for getting a good publisher, because you have written so many books, and I'm really honored to have you on the show. So thank you so much once again.
Thank you.
All right, viewers, thank you so much. With another guest, that was Greg Mortenson. He's such a wonderful soul, such a wonderful person. I really enjoyed talking to him. And until next time with another guest, this is your host and host, Dr. Aijaz Qureshi from Toronto, Canada, saying goodbye and Allah Hafiz. Pakistan Zindabad, Pakistan Paindabad.
Allah Hafiz.